Vance. I'm in Nashville, Georgia today at the doors of one of the most iconic saltwater boat builders in the world. It's Robalo. Behind these doors are 800 craftsmen, 3 generations of marine engineers, and 1.2 million square feet of factory, all designed to bring you some of the most exciting saltwater fishing boats in the world. Follow me and I'll show you exactly how they do this. Now, the interesting thing about boat building is that you paint the boat before you even build it. Where we are now is right here where the molds are being prepared to receive the gel coat. Now, every mold is built on a plug that's cut on a 5-axis router. That gives you a true running surface, perfectly symmetrical, and makes a great handling boat. The first step in molding the boat is preparing the mold to accept the gel coat. We're going to apply release wax. Once that's done, then we'll tape it off to accept the color scheme that you choose. One thing you can count on with Robalo's gel coat is it's extremely expensive, it's non-porous, and it will give your boat a long-lasting shine. Now, once the mold is in the paint booth, they're going to go over the hull one more time. They use an LED light to make sure there's no debris in the hull or there's no places where they missed the release wax. This is going to make sure that that very expensive, non-porous, high-gloss gel coat looks perfect when it comes out of the mold. Now, both the hull and the deck are going to be covered with 18 to 22 mils of gel coat. It gives you an extremely thick finish that's very resistant to osmotic blistering. Now, both the hull and the deck are treated with the same care. 18 to 22 mils of gel coat goes on here. Once it's done, they're going to go over it with a fine-tooth comb, well, an LED light actually, to make sure there are no thin spots, and they'll actually measure the depth of that gel coat with a gauge. Now, in boat building, when they say a hull is hand-laid, they're not lying. A great deal of the work in boat building is done by hand. In this case, gel coat is hand applied to all of the narrow spots on the boat because you just can't properly spray it and get the coverage that's required. Just like the hull, you want 18 to 22 mils. It's got to be consistent so that it looks good for the lifetime of your boat. They're preparing the deck here to receive its skin coat. First, they reinforce all the high-stress areas to prevent cracking down the road. Then they're going to come back and hit it with a skin coat. That protects the gel coat from print-through from the woven roving and the Kevlar that they mold into the hull and the deck for strength. Now, here's the deck mold with the skin coat all rolled out. All the bubbles are gone. It's ready for the next step. Now, the skin coat is extremely important. They're using a hydropel vinyl ester resin. That gives it a great amount of protection from osmotic blistering down the road. It also protects the gel coat from the heat of the lamination process when they lay in the woven roving. All the air bubbles are taken out so that there's no place for water to find its way in and cause blisters down the road. Every deck gets the same skin coat, plus on the corners and the sharp edges, areas where there's a great deal of stress, they're reinforced with fiberglass woven roving. Now, the final stage in preparing this hull for the actual build is this spray core layer that's put over the skin coat. What it does is it protects the gel coat from heat and print through from the woven roving that's about to be laid into this hull to give it the strength that Robalo is known for. Now, here they're rolling in their second layer of woven roving. There's actually going to be 4 layers in here. They call it quadrangle. It's a process that ensures the hull is extra thick, extra durable. Now, here we're looking at a completed hull. It's ready to receive all of the structural components. One thing you want to note is the entire boat is built with a hydropel vinyl ester resin that reduces osmotic penetration and stops blistering so that your boat's finish stays beautiful for the life of it. Now, Robalo reinforces all the hulls with Kevlar, the high-stress areas where you need the protection the most. One last step before getting ready to set the deck and the hull is insulating the live wells and the coolers on board. Now I'm standing in front of the stringer grid for the R230. This is an all-composite reinforced fiberglass part that's ready to be bonded into the hull. Now here's the R230 with the stringer system already bonded in. Once the stringer grid is cured in place, they drill it, they fill it with high-density foam that expands to fill every void. Now the hull has been in the mold for at least 2 days. It's ready to come out, it's fully cured, so that when it's out, it's going to be straight and true. If they've done their job correctly, you can have a beautiful gel coat finish as well. But from my vantage point, it is flawless. Now once you get the hull and the deck in the cutting room, Robalo has these precise templates built so that every hole is drilled in exactly the same place on every boat from the beginning to the end. And once the stringer system is set in place, it's fiberglassed in to bond it with the hull. You can see that the stringer grid is all gel coated. What that means is that all the compartments below deck have a fine, easy to clean finish. Now we're standing next to a boat that's already got the stringer system in and fully finished. But I want to call attention to the transom. Now this is a ceramic composite filled transom. There'll be no air voids in there like you might have on a panel, and it's got greater tensile strength than steel. Now we're looking at another R230 deck here. You can see that we've got the rod holders finished in. They're putting in all the cleats, they're putting in the running lights, the cup holders, and the rod holders. Now one thing you're going to notice is that this rod holder is plumbed to the deck. That means no water goes below, and that's the way a boat should be finished for the salt water. Now this is one of the most critical quality control areas of the boat. We're testing the fuel tank here. They're putting it under pressure, and they let it sit to make sure that pressure doesn't drop. Now this is the last stage of rigging the hull before they're going to drop the deck on it. You can see that we're working on the wiring now. So a couple of things you need to look at. First, you got a large wiring chase here. Second, you've also got armor around all the wires, and you'll notice that there are triple O-ring Deutsch connectors every place there's a connection. Once the deck is all rigged, it's ready to drop in. They've got the stringer system all coated with adhesive, the transom coated with adhesive. You can see all the plumbing and wiring is in place. Now the deck's been dropped. We've got the rub rail on. We've hung the motor, and we're doing all of the finishing rigging. The boat is just about ready to go to the test tank. While every step of the process of building this boat has quality control components, this is the final stage. The boat's assembled, and now they're testing to make sure that it's watertight. They're looking carefully at the through hulls, the live well fittings, any place where water comes against a fitting. Now the last thing that we need to talk about before we shrink wrap this boat is the silicone upholstery. This is extremely durable, mildew resistant, sun resistant, and I want to show you how Robalo makes it look so good in this boat. Now a fisherman, when he looks at the Robalo, might be looking at the fishing features most, but right here is what I think amounts to putting the hood ornament on a Rolls Royce. If this part's done well, everything comes out beautifully. Now the upholstery that Robalo uses is silicone material. That is impervious to mold and mildew. It is UV protective. It doesn't require a coating to protect itself from the sun. It's also oil and bug spray resistant. It's not going to turn sticky on you, and it's going to last a long time. Now, all that aside, you've got to look at the craftsmanship here. The straight seams, you've got double stitching here. Robalo uses a variety of textures, colors to give your boat real style.
You always got to innovate. We kind of go through the steps there. We look, we listen, we go out there, benchmark, and put it all together. We've got a key milestone step that we go through our design process. We're doing sketches, we're doing some CAD models, we're even 3D printing some things to understand what we want to build there. And I'm a leader, I'm not a follower. So when I go to the boat shows and I look and I benchmark other competitors, it's how can I beat them? How can I build a better product? How can I keep our current customers loyal to our brand? How can I bring in more customers into our brand? And I love the creativity side.
After taking a walk through the Robalo factory, it's easy to see that they pay special attention to engineering, assembly, and quality control at every step of the path. You know that's why they turn out one of the most popular saltwater boats on the water. In fact, they've earned 12 Boat of the Year awards, 53 Excellence in Products awards, and for 16 years in a row, Robalo has earned the Customer Satisfaction Award every time. I'm Randy Vance at the Robalo factory, and some more boats are coming your way.